Yeah, let's, okay, look, God, let me turn this music down, though. Where is and that was with the volume already kind of down. There we go. That should be pretty good, right? Not too loud. But yes, I watched all the Pokemon movies. Like, well, we'll get to it, but there's one that I didn't. Well, technically, I guess there's two that I didn't watch. The two that I didn't watch is, I can't remember. Did we watch Black or White? I don't even remember. But Black and White are basically the same movie, except that, like, things happen slightly differently. And there's, like, different Pokemon that show up in scenes. But, I mean, the overall thing is the same. It's got Victini, and Victini does stuff and is small and cute, and it says, I don't think it talked. You know what? There was a definite difference in enjoyment for me between when the Pokemon talked a whole bunch and when they just said their names. Although I will say in the Secrets of the Jungle movie, it at least made sense because the Zarudes and the other Pokemon only really talked if they were talking to the character who knew how to speak Pokemon because he was raised by Pokemon. Everybody else just heard them talk. So that made sense. But, like, I swear all of these movies were like, oh, it's a psychic type, so it can telepathy. Yeah, version split before a movie. Exactly. But yeah, we're doing a tier list of the 23 Pokemon movies, not including Detective Pikachu. I could put Detective Pikachu on here, but I don't think it really counts. It's kind of its own thing. Is it different in the series because I stopped watching after 2? It is. I mean, think of it this way, Dixies. And here, actually, you know what? To start off the whole list, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at Pokemon the movie. We're gonna look at Pokemon the movie 2000, or Pokemon the first movie. Pokemon the first movie is literally just like an extra long episode. Like it plays out just like an episode of Pokemon. Like because if you think about it, like in the original series, every episode was just kind of random hijinks happening, and there was generally some kind of resolution to a problem. And a lot of these movies follow the same kind of plot. And in the original Pokemon movie, it's the same thing. Like, Mew is out having fun, but also Mewtwo is out not having fun and trying to make the perfect world because they're basically mad because they were created and they're like, I have no purpose. And then Giovanni was like, hey, come work for me. And then they do, and then they leave because they're like, oh, Giovanni just wants to use me as a tool for, like, making money and stuff, which is true because that's what Giovanni does. Giovanni just doesn't, like, give a crap. Giovanni does what he wants. But, like, I will say this right now, and this may sound sacrilegious, in terms of, like, movie quality and everything like that, the first Pokemon movie is definitely not an S. Has it aged well? I mean, that's really debatable. If you're a Pokemon fan, you could say, well, I mean, original Ash is very, he has a lot of problems. But, I mean, he's also, like, just setting out and all that. He kind of, I don't know, every season he's still kind of the same guy. He's just got a different set of friends around him. But in the realm of tier lists, Pokemon, the first movie, is definitely S tier. Like, it's exactly what you would have expected from a Pokemon movie at the time. I remember watching it when it came out in theaters, and I got an Ancient Mew card, which I never redeemed. I just had it. I don't even know where the hell that thing is. It probably got lost. Honestly, I had a binder full of Pokemon cards. I don't know where that thing went. Just at some point during moving around, it was gone. But I mean, it had everything you needed in it. It had the gang. It had Mewtwo and Mew and a lot of stuff. There was that scene where Ash like straight up died because he got turned to stone, and everybody got really sad and cried in the theater and also on the movie screen, and then he came back to life. All right, and then after that brings us to Pokemon the Movie 2000. Now, honestly, Pokemon the Movie 2000, like, even, gosh, I'm gonna be honest with you. Pokemon the Movie 2000, I wouldn't put it in S rank. I'd put it in A. It's still very good, but I have to say the theme of, like, the power of one was some of the cheesiest bullshit ever. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Pokemon. What do you expect? But no, it's definitely A rank for me. And like I said, like, honestly, aside from like a couple of outliers, this list, having it at the bottom of the list doesn't mean that I hate the movie. It just means that I didn't like it as much as the other movies. But I was still like, it was still a movie. Like, it did its job. Well, except for the Diancie movie. That movie felt really pointless. It literally was just as a promotional tool for Diancie. But anyway, I feel like this tier list is going to be a dichotomy of movies with substance versus movies just... No, exactly. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so there's Pokemon 3, the movie. Let's see. Thankfully, I have a little plot synopsis because I'm going to tell you what. I watched all 23 of these movies over the past few months. Every Sunday in my Discord, I've been having a movie night with friends, and we've been watching the Pokemon movies. A lot of these movies follow the exact same formula, and so they become... This tier list is also kind of based on how forgettable they are. Okay, Pokemon the Movie 3, this unknown. She's the unknown one. Okay, because I remember now. It had Entei in it, but it wasn't actually Entei. It was like psychic... whatever Entei. Yeah. And... her Pokemon. Yeah, unknown. Yeah. And, oh yeah, Ash's mother gets stolen. You know, the premise of it is actually quite good. It's not... I've just watched so many things. You know what? I'd honestly put this probably still in A, just because, you know, it's kind of nice that Ash's mom got involved, even if she was kidnapped. But it was there was a lesson learned because the little girl was, she just, well, I mean, the Unknown kind of did their own thing, but at the same time, she kind of knew what she was doing after a certain point, but she at least realized it was wrong, you know? See, they stopped being creative and the monsters feel very repetitive. Well, yeah, no. I mean, look, Dixies, I love the Pokemon franchise. I play a lot of the games. I understand. Like, I mean, and I can say that the last few games that have come out haven't really been great. They haven't been their best. But I still enjoyed, like, I like Legends Arceus and Pokemon Violet and Scarlet, despite the... They were some of the most fun I have had with Pokemon in a long time, despite the performance issues. Okay. So next we have the Pokemon Forever with Celebi. Sorry, this immediately goes into S tier because we got our infamous wilted lettuce meme. And Celebi like dies and then comes back. So Celebi's basically Jesus. There's a lot of Pokemon that are pretty much Jesus, but I think this is the first one, you know, where it was... I mean, I guess in Pokemon, the first movie, Ash was Jesus because he died and then was resurrected, and he was the rock. He just was the boulder in front of the cave, his own cave of life, where he died. And then he came back to life. Yeah, and also, this was the first movie to truly instill... I'm going to tell you right now, the people who worked on the Pokemon movies were kinky as shit. Because I remember there was a giant, like, Pokemon monstrosity, and Jessie got caught in it, and there were tentacles. And while they didn't actively do anything to Jessie other than hang her upside down, there were still tentacles, and also Jessie. So somebody was really horny making that movie. All right, anyway, moving on. Okay, Pokemon Heroes, Latios and Latias. This movie would be an S rank if it wasn't for the fact that Latias has the most annoying scream in the world, and it happens all the time. But also, I think that this movie was the gateway to a lot of people becoming furries, because Latias in human form was really cute, even if she was mimicking that other girl. So, you know. Also, movie 3 had, oh yeah, it did have the hypnosis kink, because his mom got hypnotized. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then next up we have Jirachi the Wishmaker. That was, oh yeah, May. That was the first one with May, I believe. Is it the second one, May? No, Latias and Latias. I get so confused. I think that might have been, I think May started with Latias. Yeah, because that would have been Gen 3, because we were in Gen 2. The first movie was Gen 1, then Gen 2 was 2003 and 4, then Pokemon Heroes. Honestly, Jirachi the Wishmaker, I'm gonna put it at B. It was still pretty good, but like it was starting to get a little bit old on the same, because all of these are like present the legendary Pokemon, present the evil bad guy. Things happen and maybe we learn a lesson, but we definitely take care of the bad guy, but there's also a lot of collateral damage. And then typical defeat villainless area. No, exactly. And like Jirachi was also, because I think Jirachi, yeah, that was the one where Jirachi was like born again, because it was like in a rock. And then it had the power drained out of it, and that was somebody's kink too, because that thing was screaming in a way that thing shouldn't scream. And let's see. On to the next one. Destiny Deoxys. Oh yeah, that's where Deoxys and Rayquaza are fighting, and I don't quite remember. I remember Deoxys was an egg, and it changed forms. Yeah, Goopy Fake Grow. So, Deoxys... Destiny Deoxys, I think I'll also put that in B, because it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, I also don't remember much of it, which means that it didn't really, I don't think it really connected with me on the level. Like, and granted, when we're watching these movies, I'm not always paying 100% attention, but like, if it's good, I will be paying attention. Like, I actually watched The Power of Us again afterwards, and I was like, this is still very good. Let's see. Next, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. Okay, that, you know what? Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, while the premise was, because I'm pretty sure this is the Aura thing. Yeah, this is the one that started off like in the Middle Ages with the Pokemon War. That's gonna be an A, because it's still quite good. It still followed a similar plot. The big bad guy was just a guy. Oh, well, no, because he was trying to take power for himself, and he framed the King Man, and then Lucario thought the King Man ran away, or something. Oh God, there was Crystal, and Lucario was old, and then Ash learned the power of Aura. I don't know. There's a lot going on, but A. We'll put A because it was actually quite good. Like, I feel like the direction in that one was good with the animation and everything as well. Even if, like, the story was a little out of hand. All right. And sorry, like, we keep kind of rapid firing and then going back to me talking for a while, but it really depends on, like, how much I remember about the movie, like, from when I watched it, you know, how much it stuck in my head, and just, like, other things that come to mind. Oh, yeah. Okay. You know what? Honestly, the next one, Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Sea, I might be a little biased because I like Manaphy, but I'm gonna put that at S because that was pretty good. Because basically, Manaphy kind of imprints on May, and they hang out, and it's kind of weird. Somebody has like a mother, like a nurturing kink, I guess, in that one. But yeah, and they're trying to save the pirate. Oh yeah, and the pirate, we thought he was super strong, and it turns out he's just wearing like some kind of like exo armor type of thing, and then he gets like stuck at the end because and then he gets out because like at the end credits, he's just there like, I guess I was foiled or whatever. But yes, Manaphy movie, fairly good. It's still similar vibe, but I remember liking it quite a bit. Okay, next, The Rise of Darkrai. Wait, is this one The Rise of Darkrai? Is that it? God, these titles are so small. Oh yeah, because the next one is Giratina and the Skyward. Okay, Rise of Darkrai. I'd probably put that. I think that was a solid B. Darkrai was pretty cool with his little scarf and darkness and everything, but it was still like very cut and dry. And that was also, I think that was the start of like Palkia and Dialga just constantly fighting, and it was like they were fighting just to fight. Even in the games, I was like, I don't think that they constantly just fought forever, but maybe I'm missing the deep Pokemon lore. Like it wasn't really about Darkrai. No, it felt like it was about Palkia and Dialga, but then it shifted over because it was like, yes, but it's also him trying to stop bad stuff from happening, and pocket dimensions were opening, and I think he kind of died at some point, but then he came back to life because timey-wimey stuff. I gotta say, some of this stuff just doesn't make any sense, and granted, it's Pokemon. And I mean, that era was all about like time and space Pokemon. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, here we go. We got our very first C, Giratina and the Sky Warrior. The reason why Giratina and the Sky Warrior gets C is because I fucking hated Shaman. It was the worst. He was like just an absolute fucking like overconfident little asshole, and he also talked too much, and his voice was annoying, and there was just a lot going on. Even like he didn't really learn a lesson. He just learned how to change forms and then became more of like an overconfident little prick. I think he stopped biting Ash at some point, but it didn't. That was probably one of the first ones where it felt like it was like there was no real lesson. It seemed like two movies lumped in. Yeah, no, exactly. And like at that point, they could have just like made two separate movies or something. But I just wasn't a fan of Shaman. Like even now, after watching that movie, I see Shaman and I'm just like, who wants a fucking Shaman? Little stupid hedgehog fuck. I didn't even know Shaman had a second form. And when I saw that second form, I was like, no, keep it a little hedgehog. Don't fucking change it into that. Anyway, okay. Arceus in the Jewel of Life. You know what? Arceus in the Jewel of Life is also a C for me. Yeah, it wasn't about Giratina at all. It was about Shaman, and Giratina was also there fighting. Okay, but Arceus in the Jewel of Life, it's another one where the direction just felt weird. And also the voice acting for Arceus was awful. It was just bad, and that made my enjoyment of the movie go down because every time I heard Arceus yelling or saying stuff, and I was just like, you guys could have chosen a better voice actor. But there was just a lot going on, and Arceus was depowered, and then they gave him the plates, and he powered up again, but he went all rogue, but then he got better, and he cured the land, I guess. I don't remember a whole... I just remember that... Okay, that was the one where there was a deception, because the dude had, like, a part of... because basically they took the fire, lightning, and grass... Fire, lightning, water, and grass. It was like 3 or 4 plates, and they turned it into a jewel that gave life to the land. And then the guy was like, "I'm gonna give it back to you." And then some other guy like pretended to be him and gave him a fake one, and then like covered him in goop. It was very weird for the movie. The whole execution was just it was very forgettable and just not great. All right, next. Zoroark, Master of Illusions. You know what? This one immediately goes back up into B or A territory because I liked Zoroark and the little baby Zorua. It was basically just like a mom wanted to get her baby, and then everybody being kind of a dick. So she was just like, I would say she. It seemed like that was probably like Mother Zoroark, just fighting everybody until baby back, and then we're good. So I think that one was quite good. It was still very formulaic like the rest of them, but I liked the Pokemon, and I don't think that Zoroark talked. And that, after watching like the last couple of movies where they talked and I hated it, that immediately bumped it up for me. Characters, but with Zoro tail. Oh yeah, that too. Yes, another kink. Okay. Now we got black and white. And I'm going to tell you right now, black and white are going to go in the same tier. What tier is that? Let me try to remember. Okay, Ash. Iris. Iris, that's the... this one, right? The dark-skinned girl with the purple hair that twitched to match her mood. And Sillon, the butler-looking guy. That's about Damon, it's descendant of Eindokes, ancient people of the Vale, from Zekrom or Reshiram. Dragon Force. That was the. Oh yeah, I remember. It was weird because they could like telepathically talk with Zekrom or Reshiram, right? That one was really weird. I don't know if I'd call it a C though. I don't know if it was like. Because I like thinking about it, I just remember being like, this is kind of stupid. Kind of like the Celebi. Well, it was like the Celebi movie in premise, but they added more weird, like, mystical bullshit that made it just like, is this really about the Pokemon? So you know what? Black and white, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put you both in C. Because I can't really put you in like the Jirachi zone and the other ones because I feel like you weren't quite that good. And like I said, even stuff being in C, like I enjoyed it. It just was like it may not have been like the best movie, you know? Okay, next. Oh, here we go. Here's another S. Kyurem and the versus a Sword of Justice. Now this was to me one of the first truly good, like, even though I have these other ones in like S rank, like OG gets S rank status because it's exactly what you would expect. Celebi, it started a meme. It did a lot of stuff that was very interesting. And I mean, it worked as Celebi being like the forest guardian and everything like that. Like it's exactly what you thought it would be. And then, oh God, what is this one now? I forgot already. Pokemon Ranger, because I like Manaphy, and I thought it was cool how they included the Rangers and stuff, and it just worked. Kyurem and the Sword of Justice was the first really great Pokemon movie to me, because it was the first one where the legendary Pokemon actually experienced, like, some, like, let me put it this way. At the beginning of the movie, our boy Keldeo was basically Shaman, but with a less shitty voice. But he got humbled immediately and then had to grow as a character in order to like save his friends and do stuff. And I was like, that's character growth. That's how you do movies. That's good. You're teaching a lesson and a good one. So yeah. Arrogant but got humbled, experienced adversity, triumphed over trauma, became better for it, and even when he got like his super like powered up self, he still admitted defeat. He was like, look, even after all of this, I can't do this, I yield. And Kyurem was like, hey bro, that's all you had to do the whole time was understand the limits of your power instead of being an asshole. Like, a very good lesson. Like, you don't always have to win. Sometimes you just have to understand what you can and can't do, you know? And that's a life lesson you can use in real life, even if you don't have a sword on your head. So yeah, very good. You know what? I wonder if people are like, can there really be that many S-rank Pokemon movies? And I'm like, yeah, there can be. I mean, there could be people who think that every single one of them is amazing. They're wrong, but but there are definitely people out there that probably feel that. Okay, Genesect and the Legend Awaken. Okay, that's still, I think that was the last Iris movie. Yeah, because the next one is Serena and Clement. Okay, so that one for some reason, as you can see from the tiny picture, it's got handlehead Mewtwo, which I gotta say I hate the thing. X and Y Mewtwo is very strange. The Mega Evolution. But this one, oh god. I mean, I get the premise. It was another one of basically the Genesect had their home destroyed by scientist men, and they all kind of scattered, and they're trying to find a new home. And then they go and they try to make a nest. I honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about this movie. Although I'm gonna level with you, V. I felt really stupid afterwards because I didn't know Genesect can change type depending on the disc it has in its back. And I was making jokes during the movie that these Genesect, because there were 5 of them, were 4 or 5, and then one of them was red. They had different colored, like, little things on their backs. And I was joking about them being Power Rangers. No, they were actually different types. Basically, Genesect has a specific move to it that changes type depending on the disc stuck in Genesect's back. So yeah, they were all different types. Yeah, no, I noticed it because they were different colors. Like they had, it was a small detail, but I was just like, oh, they're like the Power Rangers. No, they were actually different colors. No, the female VEA for Mewtwo actually worked out pretty well. It was a little jarring because if you watch the first movie, it's definitely a dude and like a deep voice dude, you know? But it worked out okay. And I think the way they were going for Mewtwo being more nurturing, because Mewtwo was relating to these Genesect. And it's really funny because at the beginning, Mewtwo saves a couple of Ash's Pokemon. And Ash is like, thank you. And Mewtwo's like, I didn't fucking do it for you. Because they're like, are you okay? And Ash is like, yeah, we're fine. And like, I wasn't talking to you. Well, except in a lady voice. That wasn't all gravelly. But so you know what? For the premise and everything, I still don't remember a lot. I also probably wasn't paying that much attention. I'll put that in B. We'll say that's a solid B. Okay, and then, next one. Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction. That one goes to D. I'm going to explain why it goes to D. This movie is a hour of nothing. It's literally just a parade of, look, it's Diancie. It's cute. It's pink. It can make diamonds, kind of. Like, there are a lot of opportunities throughout the movie for there to be character growth, but the only character growth that Diancie actually encounters is that it uses the power of friendship to be able to make the big heart diamond or whatever it needs to keep the land from decaying. That's fucking it. Because you want to know what happens in that movie? Does Diancie stop the whole big bad thing from happening? No. Xerneas does. Xerneas turns itself into a fucking tree to purify the land and stop like this evil miasma stuff basically from like taking over everything. So the lesson here is if you fuck things up enough and you go out and you play with friends and you wear dresses and you just fuck around, you don't have to worry about it because some other legendary Pokemon will end its own life. So everything's okay. So the lesson there was nothing. It was literally just a movie that was like, hey, look, it's Diancie. And that's it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, other people might get other messages out of that, but overall to me, it was just like, it was a lot of nothing, you know? It was a cute movie, but as like a movie with like life lessons or morals or anything like that, there's nothing. It was just them fucking around. Yeah, no, exactly. It felt very phoned in. Okay, and then we have Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. If you watch that movie, he sure does say Hoopa a lot. Also, there's Jesus. I'm not lying. Jesus is in the movie. Watch it yourself. And then you see Jesus's like grandchildren or children, and they can talk with Hoopa. Basically, the premise of the movie is Hoopa's kind of an asshole, and then he gets separated. They suck out the part of Hoopa that makes him the the Hoopa Unbound, which is the really big one, which apparently is really strong. He was also kind of an asshole and caused a lot of collateral damage. But then at the end of the movie, Hoopa learns to basically he was the little Hoopa is scared of his own power because it made him kind of an asshole. But then he accepts himself better than no, it's definitely better than DNC. Like, honestly, I'll give it a solid B. It's 50-50 because it wasn't the best, but there was a definite lesson learned, and there was acceptance and other things in there. Like, there was good stuff in there. Like I won't lie. And it definitely was more memorable than some of the other ones. All right. Next up on the list, we have Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. I'm not gonna lie, that's another one that I couldn't really pay like 100% attention to. Just because like I'm always kind of doing stuff. Like that's just how I am. That's why I prefer to watch movies at home, because I can do things while I'm watching the movies. But I know there was a very strong bond between Volcanion and Magirna, and they had to take the soul bead thing out of Magirna. I can't remember why. Why did they have to do that again? What were they powering something, right? It was like an energy source, but also it, killed Magirna, and that made Volcanion and Volcanion, there was some growth because Volcanion was like basically racist against humans, or prejudiced, I guess I should say. But he was helping out like the forest animals. Villain wanted to power the fortress to lift to the sky, become new ruler. Okay, so another one that I feel falls a little short because, a lot of these, like, the bad guys are just your same, like, cookie cutter, cut and dry, I want to take over the world, or, oops, I thought I was doing a good thing, but I was actually doing the worst thing I could do. No, Volcanion was pretty good. So you know what? For that, we'll put it in A. I'll say, like, for the Pokemon interactions, the interactions with the party, other stuff, A. Would be S if the villain was not another just copy-paste, I'm evil bad guy man, look at me do bad things. Okay. And then, man, I don't know. The I Choose You movie, it was basically just a quick retelling of, like, Ash meeting Pikachu and all that, and dying and coming back to life, and because we're pretty sure, come on, he probably died that night, and then Ho-Oh brought him back to life, so he's technically Jesus in 10-year-old form with a hat and less hair, if pictures of Jesus are to be believed. I Choose You, I don't know, like, as it was just, it kind of was like a recap episode. It was neat. We got the Ho-Oh interaction that we never got in the original anime, but the end, it was just Pikachu's no. You know what? You reminded me of that. Sorry, I Choose You. You get dropped down into C. Like, I don't know. It wasn't like, I think it's the fact that they, the template was good. It was kind of nice seeing like a refreshed version of the first episode and, the bond and all that, but I think it was a little too much power of friendship. Like, it was like distilled, like chokingly, type of thing. And like I said, just because a movie is in C doesn't mean I thought it was a bad movie, just it could have been a better movie. Like, the Dancing movie, I'm like, there's no need for me to watch that again because it's nothing. But now that once, not twice, but thrice, they use the whole I'll protect you Pikachu. Yeah! No, exactly. It was just a little too, like, everybody was trying to self-sacrifice. Yeah, no, fair. Exactly. So, for me personally, C. And like I said, C doesn't mean it, like, you could watch all these movies and probably be fine, especially if you like Pokemon. Like I don't hate any of these. And that brings us to The Power of Us. It's just straight up S rank. I have seen other people's tier lists on here because it shows you like the general tier list. A lot of people ranked it lower, and I'm like, why? Like, to me, The Power of Us was like the best Pokemon movie that they had made because of the fact that it followed multiple, like, and maybe the reason why people ranked it lower is because of the fact that there were so many main characters, as it were, in the movie. Like, because if you think about it, I guess in the other movies, it was Ash and then, like, his friends doing stuff, and they usually experienced some kind of growth or they had an impact on things. And I think in this one, if I remember correctly, he didn't have any friends with him. It was just him. It was just him and Pikachu, and then all these other people that he met. And it was Ash and 4 other people. Or sometimes, well, I mean, I guess the uncle and the niece and his sister were like one little group and all that. But it starts off a little frenetic. Like, I will say the only failing I saw about it is that it's a little hard to follow at the beginning, but that's because they're setting up the stage for the rest of the movie. So it's a little overwhelming because you're like jumping between a few different scenes and you're trying to figure out exactly how they tie together. But once it ties together very well. You know, it's like watching an anime that skips around a lot in like the time frame of things, and then you get to the point where you're like, oh. And honestly, this movie, I watched it a second time. It's even better the second time around because there are little social cues and things that these characters do that you don't think about the first time around because you don't know enough about the character. But when you know about the character and you see their little like mannerisms, you're like, oh, that, like, I made a joke at the beginning because one of the characters is a girl who's visiting her brother in the hospital, and he's got a leg injury, so he's like laid up in bed, and her leg is like, she could walk around, but apparently they must have been in a car accident or something. And when she's leaving the hospital, she looks out and she looks kind of longingly at there's a bunch of track racers running around, and I of course made the joke. I was like, oh shit, lesbians, because, you know, of course I did. But looking back, the reason why she did that is because she thought that she couldn't run anymore, and so she was seeing other people fulfilling the dream that she wanted to do. And I was just like, oh shit, like, this movie is actually, like, this movie has some fucking layers. So yeah, Pokemon. And then there's others, like there's a guy who's basically a con artist, there's a scientist who can't he's just like very, very bad at public speaking or speaking up for himself. There's an old lady who seems like she hates Pokemon, but she actually has a very good reason. There's a little girl who kind of tries to do everything on her own, and it ends up screwing things up a bit, but, you know, she does her best anyway. It's just, there's a lot. All the stories mesh together, and the thing is, this is one of the first movies, which it comes in the season where Ash is actually, like, a competent trainer, and it's just refreshing to see him actually doing things and not like running ass backwards into victory. Like, it was great. It's great to see some growth and see our boy actually like tell Pikachu to do something, and it works the first time. You know, it was very good. It highly recommend. Like, if you don't watch any other Pokemon movie, I would recommend Pokemon The Power of Us. Like, it was very good. Just a very good, like, movie on top of it just being a Pokemon movie. Which brings us to our next thing. I'm barely going to talk about. I'd never seen it, but if there was an E rank, I'd put it there, but I decided there was no need for an E. I was just D or never seen. I skipped around a bit in Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. And I won't lie, like, the animation style looks like it could be charming, but because of the fact that I have seen the original, it feels like it didn't need to exist. I feel the same way about Pokemon, like Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, that I do about the live-action Lion King, where we would have been perfectly fine if it just didn't exist. It didn't need to be there. And I feel like they were trying to dive into 3D like animation for the movie style, and I feel like it was an experiment, and they immediately were like, we're not doing that again, because I feel like the backlash was terrible. Yeah, no, exactly, V. Like, Power of Us was just so good. Like, if they continued making them even just like slightly similar to that, yeah. I wish the Mewtwo movie went with the I Choose You route. Yeah, exactly. Instead of, like, just refresh how it looks and, like, change a couple other things and make Ash competent rather than just make it a one-for-one except it's 3D animated. Okay, and then the you know what the funny thing is, I actually talked to a friend because after watching The Power of Us, I was very concerned. I was like, I don't know if any other Pokemon movie is gonna be good, you know, like doing in the style of the games. Yeah, no, fair. I think that would have worked out fine if they did it like that. But no, they chose their own. They look kind of like dolls, and it was just very uncanny that way. That brings us to Pokemon and the Secret of the Jungle. Now this one, honestly, I don't think it's quite good enough to be S rank. Like, I feel like you have to have a special something to be S rank, or have like started something, but it's definitely A. It's like between S and A. Like, Secret of the Jungle was quite good. There was talking Pokemon in it, but it made sense in the context that literally one of the main characters of the movie was a child raised by Zarude. So, of course, he knows how to communicate with Pokemon better than other people. And even the other like, it was only the Zarude that talked to him. Like, the other smaller Pokemon, like his Squovit and all that, they still made noises, but he could understand what they were saying. But the Zarude talking, they only talked when they were, like, talking to each other or talking to him. When they were around, like, Ash and them, and they were talking to them, they were just making Pokemon noises. So it made sense, and it wasn't another, like, oh, they have telekinesis, so that's why they can talk. It's like, they don't need that. Like, Shaman is a grass type. It didn't need to be able to talk, but they just made it talk. But no, Zarude, the Secrets of the Jungle, very good. There were some good life lessons. There was, like, some heavy shit in there. That's the other thing. The Power of Us and Secrets of the Jungle, like, you know, they're Pokemon movies. At their essence, they are for kids, but there was more than enough, like, mature type content and things going on that parents could probably be like, oh, geez, is this really for kids? Like, you know, like, I mean, okay, this minor spoiler. Well, I won't say who it was. In The Power of Us, a Pokemon gets, like, they don't show the actual act of it happening, but there is a panicked crowd and a Pokemon gets fucking trampled. They don't die, thankfully, but they're just, like, on the ground. You can tell that they've been, like, stepped on multiple times, and you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ, Pokemon, what is going on? Secrets of the Jungle is a solid movie to end on. No, exactly. So I feel like in a way they kind of did a good job, like, ending on that high note instead of trying to churn out something. Yeah, no, I really feel like if I will say this, like, you know how there's the site like Does the Dog Die, where you can check to see if there's movies where, like, animals get hurt and stuff like that. The Power of Us has a couple of upsetting scenes. And it's never anything explicit, but it's implied, and if you're an animal lover, you're probably gonna feel it pretty intently. Like, you're gonna feel it, because you're like, oh, even if I didn't see it happen, I know exactly what that means. You know, it's like watching Dragon Ball Z and seeing Yamcha in a crater on the ground, face down, and you're like, I didn't see him get hit, but Yamcha's dead. It happened. It happened again. Sorry, bro. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. This is the ending tier list. I think this is pretty good. You know what? Pretty even all around. Like, D or never seen. Diancie, sorry. They could have done so much better with you, but they just made you like a fucking bauble. You're exactly what you are. You're just a diamond, but you didn't do anything. There was a similar moment in I Choose You. Was there? I thought it was just Ash, that guy. Well, Ash, like, started to disappear, didn't he? Or something crazy like that? Oh, man, I can't remember. Maybe it was somebody else's Pokemon. Or was it where the trainer as a young kid gets stuck in a... Oh, yeah! Oh, and his... Oh, yeah! I forgot. And his Pokemon straight up fucking freezes to death. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah. I forgot. Oh, God, I forgot. Yeah, some of the later movies, definitely, they hit on some themes. Like, you would never think about Pokemon death or anything like that. But, oh, boy. They did it. My God, this is 46 minutes later. We did the tier list. This is the ending tier list. Thank you all for being here for my tier list. If you like Pokemon, I would highly recommend watching through the movies and seeing for yourself, like, what you like and don't like. Everybody's opinion is different. Some people might look at this list and think I'm a fucking insane person for putting Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution at the bottom and not an S rank. And I'd be like, no, I'm okay with it being down there. Or they might think the Diancie movie was way better. Like, oh, you know what the other thing is? Actually, you know what the Diancie movie felt like? It felt like it was like this is the Pokemon movie for girls movie. And I hate to say that, but thinking back on it, there was like the dress up section. There was other stuff going on. She's the princess. That was definitely like the four girls Pokemon movie. And the unfortunate thing is they did a terrible job with it. So it just made it look even worse. It's just, like, you guys were trying to cater to a crowd, and also you flopped it so bad that you never did that again. Although I will say, just so everybody knows, before I finish this video, I have been watching Pokemon Horizons, and it's funny because I was like, because Pokemon Horizons is the first Pokemon, like, series, like, mainline series that does not follow Ash. It's got a new protagonist. And at first I was seeing some dude like in every thumbnail of the episodes, and I was like, but there was also a girl, and I thought the girl was a side character, and I was like, man, sure would be progressive of Pokemon if they could make the main character the girl. Turns out the girl is the fucking main character, and it's very good, and it works very well. So I'd highly suggest, if you haven't watched anything in a while, or you need something that doesn't have Ash in it, check out Horizons. Horizons is quite good. And the characters are good. I've gotten to the point where we're getting backstory on people. It's just good stuff. But anyway, yeah, thank you all for being here and hanging out. If you want to do your own Pokemon movies tier list, I'm going to put a link in the video description below. As always, you guys are amazing. If you like what you see on here, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Tell me what your favorite Pokemon movie is. If it's Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, I'm sorry that I shit on it and I didn't actually watch very much of it, but that's just how it goes. Anyway, hey, you all have a good day or night, and thank you for coming to my first tier list / reaction / whatever. I'm sure there will be more in the future.